Hello, welcome to this lesson on math strategies. Today we're going to talk about the first two pages of math strategies in the binder. The first one we'll talk about will be translation. And what's meant by translation is that you want to take the word problem and translate it to mathematical operations and symbols. So we'll start with an easy one, like this one here, number 29. Now this is a grid-in because we don't see any choices. And this would have been number 29 on the PSAT, but on the SAT, it'd probably be more like number 9. Probably like the beginning of the grid-in section. So this should be an easy problem. Now here they're asking you what percent of 40 is 6. When you see the word what, typically you put an X. When you see the word percent, typically you want to divide by 100. When you see the word of, you want to multiply. When you see the word is, equals, and 6 is of course here. And let's not forget about the 40. So you have that. So X over 100 times 40 equals 6. If you work it all out, you would get this. X equals 6 or 40 times 100, which would just be 15. So that's an easy one. Let's step it up. So here's another grid-in, and this would be probably more like a number 12, let's say, on the PSAT, or actually maybe more like number 13, because this is the 5th question from a PSAT exam. Okay, the total weight of Bill and son Tommy is 300 pounds. So what that means is that if you assign variables for Bill and Tommy, like B and T, and you tell them the total weight, that means B plus T has to equal 300. So we want to do a sum. Now let's look at the next sentence. Bill's weight is 20 pounds more. Sorry, it's 20 pounds less than 3 times Tommy's. So B equals 3T minus 20. Whenever we say 20 pounds less, it's not 20 minus, but it's something minus 20, because you got to take 20 away from a value. So we could just substitute, because we got two equations, two variables. So you just substitute. So 3t minus 20 plus t equals 300. 4t equals 320. Tommy equals 80. But remember, we're being asked to solve for Bill's weight, not Tommy's weight. So B equals 3 times 80 minus 20, which will be 220. Let's look at number 10 here. The sum of the digits of 3-digit numbers is 12. The hundreds digit is 3 times the tens, and the tens digit is half the units. What is the tens digit of the number? Now this seems a little bit confusing, but if you have a 3-digit number, we'll say that's our number right now, where X is the hundredths digit, Y is the tens, and Z is the units. And it said all the digits add up to 12. The hundredths digit is 3 times the tens, and the tens is half of the units. Okay. So now we got 3 equations, 3 variables. We could probably do some sort of substitution. Probably easier to get z by itself in the 3rd equation. So that way you can replace both x and z in terms of y and just deal with one variable. So in this case, 3y, that's what x is. plus y plus 2y, that's what z is, equals 12. Plus we want to solve for the tens digit anyway. So y equals 2, and the answer would be A. And if you even checked your work, it means x would be 6, and z would be 4. 624 does add up to 12, if you add the digits. So that's all about translating. Let's now talk about substitution. Now this right here is probably the most crucial SAT strategy. Whenever I put a star by something, that means it's usually very important. So substitution is typically the most crucial SAT strategy. So let's start with number 22, an easy one. And again, the way this works is you're just going to plug in numbers for variables, and you want to use a strategy when you see letters in the choices. So you use the strategy when letters appear in the choices. So start number 22. This actually would be more like a number 2 on an SAT section. So this would be, again, easy. If t represents odd integer, which of the following expressions represents an even integer? Okay. So let's say t is, let me change colors up for a bit of contrast. Let's say t is 3, because it has to be odd, right? So which of the following is even? And typically when you see the words which of the following, usually you want to go through process of elimination. That'll be important. So if I plug in 3 for t, we have 3 plus 2, which is 5. Is that even? Nope. Plug in 3 for t, I get 6 minus 12, which is 5. Is that even? Nope. Plug in 3 for t, I get 9 minus 2, which is 7. Even? Nope. Plug in 3 for t, I get 9 plus 2, 11. Nope. Plug in 3 for t, I get 15 plus 1, which is 16. Bingo. That is it. So the answer is E. And I think that would be pretty obvious. I think most people just know to plug in a number for t and just work it out. Okay. Now we move on to a hard one. Let's look at number 20. And this truly would be a number 20 on the SAT because this is a tough problem. Here you're being asked that the price of ground coffee beans is D dollars for 8 ounces. Each ounce makes C cups of brewed coffee. In terms of C and D, was the dollar cost of ground coffee beans required to make 1 cup of brewed coffee. Now this one does seem a bit complex because you really have to think about what numbers or how C and D are all related. And so some people go about this algebraically and just get lost and leave the problem blank or guess something and not get the problem right. What you want to do again is plug in numbers. That's absolutely crucial. To do this problem correctly, you've got to plug in numbers. It's too hard to do it algebraically. I even have a hard time doing it algebraically. Like, trying to figure out what equations, expressions you use. It's too much. So be hypothetical. What that means is make up numbers for C and D. But choose numbers that seem reasonable. Like, for example, I'm not going to say it's going to be $1,000 for 8 ounces of coffee. That's just outrageous. You could say it's $1 for 8 ounces. So you could choose D equals 1, but avoid 1. We'll talk about that when I see you on Tuesday. But avoid 1 because what you'll notice is if you use 1, more than one answer could potentially work. We'll talk more about that on Tuesday again. So let's say D is 8. And let's say C is 2. So $8 for 8 ounces, and each ounce makes 2 cups. So with whatever little space I have left myself here, we'll see it right now. D equals 8, and C equals 2. So it means that $8 buys me 8 ounces. That means that it's $1 per ounce. Also, 1 ounce makes 2 cups. Because remember, we let C be 2. 1 ounce makes 2 cups. So it's 2 cups per ounce. So if you think about it, $1 buys us 2 cups. If $1 buys you an ounce, and each ounce makes 2 cups, naturally $1 buys us 2 cups. So each cup is half of $1. So that's the answer. The answer is half. If D and C are both 8 and 2 respectively, and that's what they want, the cost to make 1 cup of coffee. So now what I do is I plug in 8 for D and 2 for C in each choice and get a match. Here I have 8 over 16. Oh, what do you know? 1/2. Let's check the other ones really quick. 16 over 8 is 2. No. 16 over 8 is 2. No. 64 over 2 is 32. No. And that's just going to be ridiculous. That's going to be 128. So the answer has to be A. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to plug in a number for a letter, and then after you do that, after you plug in a number for a letter, you want to work it out. Like in this case, I got 1/2 and I worked it out. And then the same numbers you chose for the letters when you were working out the problem, plug into the choices and see which one matches with what we worked out over here. Alright, last problem, number 38. This is also a tough one. Actually, on the SAT, this would be more like a number 18. So a barrel contains only apples and oranges. There are twice as many apples as oranges. The apples are either red or yellow. 4 times as many apples are red as are yellow. If one piece of fruit is to be drawn at random from the barrel, what is the probability that the piece drawn will be a yellow apple? Okay, sounds confusing, but you know the concept. You've done probability many times. Remember, probability is a number of favorable outcomes divided by total number of outcomes. Okay. So, if we start with this one here, barrel contains only apples and oranges. So again, be hypothetical. Even though you don't have any choices here, you don't have any letters, you can still be hypothetical. Say there are 60 total apples and oranges. Okay. Now apples are 2 times oranges, right? So if you think about it, A plus O. Actually, just do OR because it's a little bit confusing. If you put an O, it looks like a 0. Apples plus oranges has to equal 60. And apples are 2 times the oranges. So clearly we have 20 oranges. So that means we have 40 apples. So just by choosing a number for the total number of apples and oranges, we can figure out how many apples and oranges we have separately. Now, the apples are either red or yellow, and 4 times as many are red as are yellow. So in this case, red apples is 4 times the number of yellow apples. And red apples plus yellow apples has to equal 40. So 4YA plus YA equals 40. 5 yellow apples equals 40. There are 8 yellow apples. So that means that there are going to be 32 red apples. But the question is asking for the probability of getting a yellow apple. So that's just going to be 8 over 60. Because you have 8 yellow apples out of a total of 60 pieces of fruit. Or you can write your answer as 2/15. They would accept either one. You don't have to reduce. And that's how you figure out that problem. So making up numbers and just using the concept of ratios, doing a little bit of algebra, it's not too bad. It's more manageable when you plug in. So that's how the strategy works. And you'll have an opportunity to do some practice on this when we meet as a class on Tuesday. All right. And do watch the video on grammar if you haven't already done that. And also do answer the Google Docs form questions. And I will see you guys later. Goodbye.